My friends, how's everyone doing? I love it, I love it. So this is always one of my favorite meetings when Colin gets to move cables around. That's amazing. This is one of my favorite ones, as I just said. Wouldn't you believe there's a lot going on or not going on in the market? Yes?
Yes.
We had like 2 yeses, so I don't know what that means. But at the end of today, you'll be like, yes, this is good. There's a lot of things happening today. Welcome to our fall mastermind, we're calling this, because that's exactly what this is. And there's a lot of things happening. We have an amazing guest speaker, Mr. Sonny Dalton, will come on stage in just a second. Before we get to that, we're going to do a few things. Today, as I said, we're ending the day with masterminds. And masterminds is simply this: creating an opportunity, creating an environment where you can share ideas so we can get ahead of the crowd, right? We agree with that? That's exactly what today. Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, can always count on you. That's what we're focusing on today, being ahead of the crowd, right? And in markets like this, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, do we feel it's one or the other? Buyers? Yeah, maybe? Yeah, we're confused. So I got a question for you. What does the confused realtor do? Nothing. When we're done today, we will not be confused. Right? You good with that? Thank you. I wish you could sit closer. Excellent. We're going to do something that we haven't done in probably 4 or 5 years, and that's fill the bucket. Fill the bucket is simply this. We're going to acknowledge one of our colleagues, and I'm going to ask on 2, maybe 3 of you, and we're not going to acknowledge leadership, because leadership is here to serve you, right? But what I want us to do is to shout out to one of our colleagues that perhaps helped close the deal. You called them in a pinch and asked them a specific question. They had the answer for you, things like that. Maybe they've accomplished something they've never done before, right? So I'm going to start it off. And I want to shout out to my big man over here, Wayne Clements. I look up to Wayne for various reasons. But Wayne and I have known each other for 10 plus years, and one of the cool things that Wayne has always done is help others, educate others. And that's his passion. I don't know if you know that. It is a huge passion of his. Over the last several years, he's worked incredibly hard, Wayne, you have, to get the courses done and completed. So Wayne is now officially, my friends, officially a certified KW instructor. That is outstanding work, because I know I've looked at it, like, yeah, that sounds easy enough, like, oh my gosh, the hurdles and the courses and the time spent is amazing, good stuff. So, that is filling Wayne's bucket. Anybody here want to take a stab at it? Stand up where you are, fill the bucket of a colleague. Melissa, of course we're starting with Melissa. All yours.
Well, do I get the microphone?
Sure you do, yeah, of course you do.
I just wanted the microphone. All right, I got to tell you, there are so many people, and we're so lucky to be able to talk to and see so many of you guys in coaching and just in the brokerage. But I got to tell you, there was one specific person who, and she happens to be on my team, but that's not why. It's because of her personality. She just wants to come of service. She helps not only the people on our team whenever they have anything, whether it's technology, and I don't really know how she knows technology, but she'll dive in and help even if she doesn't know. She's also helped me with other brokerages, with other people who have reached out to me, and I'm like, yes, because when we don't know something as realtors, we say, absolutely, we can help you, because we know we've got the support of the brokerage around us, and she will step up and do this. So, Jay Dirks!
Excellent. Anyone else? Yes.
Well, I want to thank all the people at your office who always answer my annoying questions every single day. But in particular, Anna Milani, who works with the scene. Every time I come around the corner, I see her smiling face. We always have, and I don't think she's here, I haven't seen her. She always is just being so positive. We always have a really good conversation, and she's always supporting what I'm doing, and that just makes me feel good. So, thanks, Anna.
Excellent. Thank you. We do one more. Yes, Bradley.
Me?
Yeah.
on leadership, but Dylan just helped me sign my first customer service agreement on my listing and double-ended deal. So I just helped.
That's amazing. Susan, you thought I pointed, I'll let you go. You thought I pointed at you, my
I
apologies.
did, so sorry. There we go. So on the same page. I just wanted to thank every single person I've talked to and who has helped me and supported me in any way, shape, or form in my crazy life. And with my recent listing my own home, never done that, and buying my own home. So Terry, Gail, Darren, Linka, every, Andrew, oh my gosh. Michelle. So thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Here's what I want to say to that. You may have not had the opportunity to fill someone's bucket, maybe a little bit nervous, that's okay. Do it. Whether it's face-to-face, at the very least, send them a text. You never know what's going on in someone's inside, right? That can totally change their day, their week. So I encourage everyone today, send a text, make a phone call, talk to somebody, let them know how you feel about them. And that is our KWC culture. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. This is always something we like to touch on, is what our mission is. I'm not going to read through all of this, but I want to remind everybody that we do stand for something, right? Other than great culture, there is a guiding light, and this is our guiding light. Our mission here to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. So that's your customers, that's your clients, right? Our value, I love this one, God, family, then business. Business is, that's just the benefit of being together, right? Excellent, excellent. Our belief system, win-win, woo! Integrity, customers, quick reflexes, commitment, communication, teamwork, trust, equity, and success results through others, right? That is really, really important. Okay, I'm going to introduce Sunny. Right, forgot to introduce myself. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Gary McGowan. I've been with KW for 10 plus years, maybe 11 years now. Currently the Director of Business Development, and I've been investing in real estate for 15 plus years. And I have seen a lot of different markets. I've seen a lot of different things. And I gotta tell you, I haven't quite seen one like we're in right now, where interest rates have gone from like, yeah, it's really low, to doubling, sometimes tripling themselves, depending on where you're at, right? And that's one of the reasons why we invited Sunny to come. So Sunny, as you make your way over here, I got a little anecdote story, and some of you have heard me tell the story in the past. And I get to talk about my kids, which is always fun for me. I have 3 kids. Karis, Brecken, and Tavish. And Tavish, they're all teenagers. Tavish, which you may know, is born with Down syndrome. Karis, my oldest, has this, I think, a really cool saying. She might say to him, Tavish, the syndrome may be down, but the swag is way up. Right? I love it. And if you know Tavish, or if you see me post anything about it, you know what I mean. My friends, our market may be down, right? I gotta tell you though, walking around here today, seeing the energy, here's what I do know. Our KWRC swag is way up, right? Incredibly up. And we don't get to do that unless we're meeting like this, unless we're doing our masterminds. And I can't think of a better person to lead us in this conversation about what the conversations we should be doing than Sunny Dalji. Sunny is the owner of a couple of brokers. He's a partner with Marvin, as we all know, in Ottawa. And he also operates, he's the operating principal of the office in Mississauga. So my friends, I've known Sunny for a long time. He's the type of guy, when you first meet him, if you're not his best friend, you've done something wrong, because he is everyone's best friend. He's got a huge heart for people, a huge heart for helping others. My friends, warm welcome for Sunny Dalji. Let me flip over your...
Flip over my... Whoa! You know what? When you hear other people say stuff about you, it's like, really? I really appreciate that. Thank you, Gary. You guys can all hear me? So, this is really impromptu. They asked me to put some stuff together, and I've been teaching classes for KW for almost 20 years now, and I've noticed some things. So today's a conversation I want us to have as a conversation. I want it to be reflective. I wanted to maybe inspire you a little bit, but I also wanted to kind of make some decisions. And, I noticed that, like, when you go through RICO, we used to have like phase 1, 2, 3, now it's like 5. And I used to have a course that's like phase 4, like what they should have told you. They didn't tell you, right? Like they didn't tell you when you first got into this business that actually you weren't going to get a lot of business from your friends and family. You actually thought that you were going to, but you actually didn't. And I'll talk about why you didn't. So you actually had to almost start from scratch again. In fact, it was harder with them than it was easier, right? For some of you. And so when I look at this, I kind of say, well, where does this all come from? And I think it comes from my dad. I think it comes from my mom. I think a lot of the stuff that we have that's good comes from our dad and our mom, and the stuff that's not so good comes from our dad and our mom, right? Well, my dad was an agronomist, and he was the head of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and so he has his doctorate in agronomy. Does anybody know what that is? My mother would go to parties together and said, well, basically, he studies the sexual behavior of corn. So essentially, like that's what it was. And so his whole world was about finding the few variables, because he was basically looking at variables for seed and plant standards of how you maintain, how you grow, how you fight off disease. And what he realized is that in every biological form, whether it be plants or whether it be living beings, there's in fact 4 or 5 main, you could call them ingredients or main factors that determine whether they're going to thrive, whether they're going to survive, whether they're going to flourish, or whether they're going to die, out of sometimes hundreds or thousands of variables. So he always used to talk about this guy called Wilfredo Pareto. So can anybody in their own knowledge of that explain to me who is Wilfredo Pareto? Okay? He was an Italian economist and basically found out in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that essentially like 20% of the world, 20% of the people controlled 80% of the wealth and the power. Has that really changed? Maybe it's gone actually even more so, right? And so my father always said to me, he says, listen, the reality of it is this: while we all have equal opportunity, and while we are all for equality and for pouring in and caring, you have to understand that less than 20% will actually take the opportunity. So this is not an elitist thing. This is not a judgment thing. This is a decision that all of you have to make, is that do you want to be part of the 20% that's going to do 80%, or part of the 10% that's going to do 90%, or do you just want to be like everybody else? And that's where you have to really be very careful about the noise that you ingest into you, because there's a lot of noise, and we get cut up on our noise. And the unfortunate thing about this is that we're looking at this all day. And there's research out right now that's showing that our brain synapses are actually deteriorating at a higher level, and we're all developing a high level of ADD, that we actually can't really focus and concentrate. And so it's becoming more difficult for us to stay committed to anything that we do, because we're all over the place. So what you've got to understand is that today's a decision. If you don't make a decision today to be part of the 10 or 20% that's going to do 80 or 90%, then you're going to be part of the 80 or 90% that's fighting over the 20 or 10% that's left. And I'm telling you, you don't want those listings. You don't want those buyers. You don't want that business. Now, this is not just in your business. This is in your life. I asked Colin, I said, how do you get big like how you were? He gets up every morning, he does 100 push-ups. If you can do 100 push-ups, I'm telling you, push-ups, doing just push-ups 50 to 100 every morning, you're going to be more fit than most people working out for 1 hour. Because push-ups is one of those 10 or 20% of the things that actually determine your physical strength and health. On the flip side, the one factor that you could be doing to you, and again, this is no judgment, but it's based on research, the one thing, health factor that you could eliminate that's one of the worst things for you in all areas is smoking. So if you eliminate smoking, that's healthier for you than if you were working out for an hour, just general working out. So we have to be very cognizant of what we allow in and what we determine. And you've been told a lot of stuff that you should have been told. The very first thing is that you've been told that many people around you want you to stay the same. See, if you grow, if you actually start making more money, if you actually start opening your mind, you're actually going to get major resistance from the existing circle of people you're in right now. Because they're comfortable with the way you are. And they want to just remember you the way you are. And I want to tell you the story, okay? Like, honestly, my mom was into belly dancing. Anybody was into belly dancing? Okay, so my mom went through this phase, like you're into belly dancing, and I'm like a young kid, right? I'm like a young kid, and it's like she had the whole belly dancing outfit and the music, and she had a little cling cling and a thing, whatever. So I was the kind of the joker in the family. So what happens is that I got into my mom's box, and then it's like we would be a very social family. We're from the West. I'm from the Caribbean, like Colin is. And so we'd always entertain and have people come over. And then my mom, was into this whole thing. It's like she put the little belly dancing music on. I said, you know what? Let's just have so I was like 7, maybe 8. So I go into her thing. I put the whole belly dancing thing on, the whole thing. I come up with the clang clang, and I'm doing the whole thing there. And I put on a show for these people. Okay? And literally that went on for about a year, that every time my mom had a social party, it was like, son, do the belly dance thing. Okay? Fast forward 40 years later, we're at a family get-together. My mom hears something close to what would be sort of Middle Eastern dance music, and she looks at me and she says to me, son, do the belly dance thing. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not that guy anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not fun anymore. With that undertone of guilt and shame. Because when hope and inspiration doesn't motivate you, what keeps you in your place is that guilt and shame of how you should have been, how you should have resorted, but you're not that person anymore. So we go back to our family functions, we go back to our Thanksgivings, our Christmases, it's all good, and we go back to that place of where we were told we should be. We tell the same stories, we tell the same jokes, it's nostalgic, it's great, but we come away feeling it's like, I'm not that person anymore. Because we're actually meant to evolve and grow. We're meant to shed. We're meant to upgrade that version. But most people want you to stay the same. And it's going to be uncomfortable for them when you're not. And if you're committed to growth, and if you're committed to the 10 or the 20, you're not going to be the same person next year than the year after and the year after. And it's going to cause upset in your life. Not that upset, but it's going to be challenging. The second thing that we were taught, and I think this is a British thing, I'm from the West Indies, the Brits took over the world, they ruled the world at one time, and I think the Brits are so poised and so great about being able to say stuff in a lovely way, but it's just almost condescending, right? And then we were just talking, don't talk to strangers. You're bothering them. So what happens is that we get into a sales business like this, and we go out, and it's like, we don't want to door knock, we don't want to cold call, we just like, we be bothering these people. Like, we're socially oriented, but like, there's this don't bother me. And the reality of it is that, here's the thing, and this is a psychological term called static projection. Just like how I said to you, people want you to stay the same. When you actually have history with somebody, they view you as a time point in your life. So remember all that stupid stuff that you used to do when you were a teenager? And all of that other stuff there? So now when you go to sell your aunt's home or your friend's home, they're still remembering that. And so when you have history with a person, you're not even at zero. Now, if you're at zero, great. Maybe you have a great relationship with that, or maybe you could be slightly plus. But in most cases, with your friends and families, you're not even at zero, you're at minus 10. So when you go to them and you ask them for their business, or you ask them, hey, I'm doing this, they're waiting to see how you're going to turn out. Because you need to prove to them that you're not that little person anymore that did this, because they know all that stuff that you did. But when you actually go and speak to somebody that you don't know, you start at zero. And you can then walk forward into the version that you are now immediately, because there's no history or projection of you being static from where they saw you. Talk to strangers. Those strangers will become some of your best friends. Those strangers will allow you to grow into the person that you need to grow. In fact, door knocking and cold calling and open house, you don't have to make friends, but you will meet some of the most amazing people, and you'll decide, you know what? This is a person that's meant to be in my journey. Some of my best friends now were people who were clients that I never thought I would like be with them. But oh my God, there's some amazing people. And unfortunately, I have a group of friends that I grew up with that I still connect with, and we still do a reunion every so often, and I put up with it. And I'm not going to say that I don't love them or accept them, but I just can't do that anymore because they're just so stuck on that record of the past, the same story over and over and over and over again. Some of our family members do. Some of our family members are doing that. Some of the people we're in a relationship are doing that. It's hard to move forward when that record's running. Talk to strangers. The next thing is real estate is a primal urge. I know, it sounds really sexy, doesn't it? It is. Like food, like sleep, right? Like procreation, sex, shelter. So the interesting thing about when you hit somebody that's a primal urge. Now, Wi-Fi is a primal urge now. Take that away, people go crazy. But when you start you have to understand that you've gotten yourself. Did anybody tell you this? You got into a job where you're getting no salary or no pay. You have to front a lot of money. You have to spend a lot of these fees. And then you have to go out and then you have to muck with the fact that you're dealing with people's shelter and you have to move them. And then you don't get paid unless you do it successfully. And even if you do a really good job, you're either a hero or a bum because there's no middle ground. You either get it done or don't. And then if you did all the right things on that listing and you service it in your open house and you got, 70 people through, suddenly they've just you didn't get it done and they give it to some schlep who doesn't know anything. The MLS information's all bad, the description's not even good photos, but somebody walks in from Calgary and says, this is my house and pays top price, and that person looks like a hero and you a bum. Did they tell you were getting into this business? Seriously, you're pretty courageous. And the reality of it is that people become undone in this process, psychologically, emotionally. So that little old lady that you've been dripping on for the last 7 or 8 years, who knows that you're going to sell that home, finally she calls you up and says, I'm ready to sell. And so you go there and you say, okay, we've got to declutter this, we've got to do this, and everything is tough. She doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to do that. She's been so sweet. You've had coffee with her, 50 times over the last 7 years, and she trusts you and loves you. But she's like, no, because deep down, this is her last move. And this house has everything that's in there. So you're part psychologist, you're part therapist, you're part cleaner, you're part babysitter, you're part, all of the stuff that you've got to shape-shift yourself as a chameleon. No wonder you feel a little bit undone sometimes, because you're absorbing the energy of these people like a shaman is, and it's coming through and you're having to bundle it up and be zen in the face of all of that. Wow, that's tough. That is just so tough. but it's a primal urge. And then, that big burly guy who's got the motorcycle, comes by and he's got the yoga mat on his motorcycle, but he's like a biker. And suddenly he's like, oh, you'll find me my plate. And suddenly you find him this little condo with like a view of the water, and he becomes like a puppy. Please get it from me. You do not actually get the best version necessarily of people in the buying and selling process. Forgive them, understand them, pour into them. It's difficult, but this process of shelter, of moving, is unsettling. It's more unsettling than the divorce, right? So understand that that's your role. And if you do it well and you open your heart and you navigate the way it is, you will learn so much from that and you'll actually become a better person. The other side of it is that conversations disappear, especially with this. You'll be able to call somebody, keep in touch with them, have a conversation with them, and suddenly it's like, okay, no problem. Talk to them 6 months later, a year later, yeah, no problem. Now, conversations disappear. You have a conversation with somebody, you talk to them, it's like if you don't upkeep that conversation now, they forget. And it's not that they do that purposely, but you know why they do that? Because they meet a really charming, good-looking guy. He's kind of like a mix between Montel and Gandhi. He's kind of sexy too, a little older, got the flavor saver, right? And he suddenly and he suddenly starts building a conversation with you, and it's not that it was anything against Colin, it's just that they've never heard from Colin, or they didn't hear enough from Colin. So when we talk to you about 33 Touch, when we talk to you about doing a pop by, when we talk to you about making a call or leaving a message, they need to hear your voice. They need to see you. And it needs to be frequent. And if that's not, if you can't do that in this business, because basically it's a full contact sport, it's always just about keeping the conversation alive. And just like in your relationships, like if you don't tell the person that you're with, I love you, then the possibility of love begins to disappear in the connection. So every conversation will disappear unless you ignite it still. And every conversation has the ability to be transformed. So if right now you're having the same conversation with your mother or with your spouse or with your friends, why don't you decide to get off of that and say, you know what, I'm going to change the conversation and I'm going to create a different conversation. And say, you know what, Mom, I love you and I appreciate that, but that's the past, and here's what's going to do. When we get together, why don't we talk about, what you're going to do and talk about other stuff? Why don't we just make that agreement and slowly start changing the conversation to a different conversation, maybe upgrade the conversation. Because some of you are having conversations with people around you that conversation ain't going anywhere and it's downgraded all the time. So why don't you make a decision to upgrade it and keep that conversation alive? And so the last thing I have to say to you is that being a great real estate, agent actually leads to self-actualization. When you learn how to manage multiple personalities, when you learn how to manage multiple people, when you learn how to manage, we see everything. We see the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And the one thing that I'm going to say, even from my past point, is that because there's shelter, and because you're helping people with this transaction, do many of you notice that when you do that deal, there's this tremendous bonding connection between you and your client? The reason is that anytime you help somebody with a primal need, it's based into our genealogy, it's based into our biology, it's based into our psychology, it's based into our emotions. It's spiritual too. It's there. And when you help them with that, because they can go into that home and they're going to have their family and kids. And if you do a good job, their life will be better. And if you do a bad job, you could make their life worse. So you have to understand that the buying and selling process, if you listen to them, if you do it right, if you help them in a way, you're actually improving their lives because you're improving their living conditions. And as a result of their living conditions, they may make better choices, and choices that could affect our community. So it's really grassroots. So you're that shaman, you're that master, you're that person that's at the root of it, having to navigate people from different ethnicities, different age groups, different backgrounds, different orientations. And you'll learn effortlessly just to be able to deal with that and help these people. And suddenly you realize that as I do this more and more, it's like, I'm unstoppable. See, who you are in the face, like things are gonna happen. The market, that's gonna happen. Interest rates, that's gonna happen. You can't really control that. What you can control is who you are in the face of that. So there's this master in my last story. He's in this village, and they got these two young kids, and the master at 5 o'clock every day always comes out and he does a discourse to all of the village, and whatever that they want to talk about, or sometimes, they just sit in silence, and the kids are like, oh, they're revered about like why is everybody listening to this master? I mean, he's not so smart. He's not so wise. They have a lot of ego and they want to prove that they're right and everybody else is wrong, So they come up with this scheme. And they found out that there was this mother bird, and she had a nest in the nearby banyan tree. And so they had these little babies that were born. And so they said, okay, I have an idea. We're gonna go at 5 o'clock when everybody comes at the end of the day, and we're gonna say, hey, master, what happened in the tree? And if he doesn't know, he's gonna say, ha, 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 you're not so wise. You should know that. And if he does know that, we're gonna take one of the little baby birds, and we're gonna put one of the little baby birds right behind our hand, our back here, and we're gonna ask the master what I have in my hand. And if he knows it's a baby bird, great. Ah, you don't know, yeah, I had a baby bird, ha, 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 you're not so smart. We're always trying to prove how everybody else is wrong and we're right. That's really from a place of insecurity. And if they guess it's the baby bird, then you're going to ask, well, is the baby bird dead or alive? And if he says dead, I'll show him the baby bird is alive. Ha, 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 ha. And if he says it's alive, I'm going to squish my hand and show him that the baby bird is dead. Either which way, the young boy wins. So they're at 5 o'clock. The master comes and says, oh, they're all sitting there. And the young boy goes, oh, master, what's gone on in the nearby banyan tree? He says, son, I believe that there's a mama bird and it's had some little birds. Yes, you are right. And master, oh master, what do I have behind my back and my hands? He goes, I think you have one of those little baby birds there. And he said, master, oh master, is that bird alive or is that bird dead? And the master looked at him, and he looked at everybody in the room, in the village, and said, that's up to you. See, whatever's going on in our lives, whatever the dance of the world that's out there, it will dance, it will stall, it will go, it will come, it will rise, it will fall, it will be light, it will be dark. But it's always up to you. And who you are in the face of that, choose that wisely. Thanks.
Excellent, my friends. Okay, is this working? This is working. It's way too loud. There we go. That might just be working. Excellent. Give me a second. I'm going to flip over some slides. and wake you up. All right, Jen, I'm going to hand this to you.
Thank you.
In the last several months, we've introduced something called the KWRC Culture Ambassador. And what that is, that's recognizing, us being able to recognize one of our agents that perhaps not only goes above and beyond of, helping their clients, but more importantly goes above and beyond of helping you, our agents, and our brokerage. And we've had some great, we've recognized some great, not only agents, but even assistants and team members in the past. And again, this is just someone that exemplifies, a servant's heart, if you will, right, Jen? So Jen and I had this conversation yesterday, and we both landed on Michael Dinner. And talk to us a little bit about Michael Dinner, Jen.
Yeah, so most of you know Michael. He's been around for quite some time. We recognize him in the hallways in Aurora. He is one of our top commercial realtors, and he is the person that when an agent calls our coaching program and says, I have a commercial deal, I will be the first to say, that is not me. I don't do commercial. Call Michael, and he will help you out. And he has helped countless agents in our brokerage to develop their commercial skills, to close deals, to build their database, and to learn the commercial business. And he's just constantly open to helping and supporting, and just being that person that's there for our team when we need them without asking anything in return. He does it because he's passionate about it. He does it because it's who he is at the core. And on top of that, he also steps up every time we have an event. All we have to do is call Michael and say, do you want to sponsor? We need some food. And we have pizza and we have wings from Tom and Jerry's every single time without fail. He just says, how much do you need? And it shows up. So we know that not only is he there for our team in our real estate business, but he's there for us on our cultural piece as well. And he's there to support everything that we're trying to do as a brokerage. So he's the perfect person for this today.
Excellent, excellent. I did speak to Michael this morning in Aurora. He sends his hellos, feels terrible he couldn't make it. He's got 2 commercial deals that he's trying to firm up on right now, obviously. But reach out to him. If you've got that commercial question, reach out to him. If that's not your wheelhouse, he's an awesome, awesome realtor and colleague to refer to. All right? Michael Dinner, everybody. Excellent. I'm going to let Jen lead this one, our KWRC referral leaderboard, but remind us what the referral program is.
Yeah, some of you guys might remember that video Stevie and I made, I think it was somewhere around March, where we pretended to be on a beach. That is still a thing. I know we haven't talked about it over the summer. We are still running our KWRC referral contest. It is running until the end of March or February of next year. And the goal here is to get a minimum of 100 referrals into the brokerage. If you guys can do that, and good news, you're at 70, so you do not have that far to go. But if you get to 100, the person with the most amount of points at the end is going to win a $10,000 travel gift certificate that they can use to go and take their family anywhere they want to, or their friends, whatever that looks like, and go on a beach and hang out and relax on us. Right now, our leaderboard is looking pretty nice. We have Austin Clark in first place at 25 points. I know, he's killing it. Adam Ratcliffe at 18, and Melissa Taylor in third at 8. This could change really easily though. I know that I was talking with some of our agents the other day and I was saying 25, and everyone's like, well, Austin's got it. He's gonna win. I was like, listen, you get a point just for giving a name. You get 3 points if the person joins, and if they're an active agent and they transfer, you get an extra 2 points on top of that. So one referral could actually get you 7 points, which is not that hard to catch up to Austin, okay? So that is the one thing I want to shout out. We're at 70 referrals, like I said. Of those 70, 9 have joined the brokerage. So we've been able to grow 9 of our agents downline so far, just based on the referrals that have been coming in. And obviously I want to make that a bigger number for you guys. So keep the names coming, and I don't know, I'm going to say let's try and take Austin down.
Jen just did. And to provide some clarity on that is, who are we referring? We're referring our colleagues that are not with KW, right? And it's really easy to do. If you do a transaction with them, say, hey, I'd love for my team member or my team leader to call you to just congratulate you and say hi. That's as easy as that. It's really, really simple. Jen and others, we do our thing on making those connections. But this is a great way to grow your downline, grow some passive income. And I enjoy passive income. I'm sure a lot of us do, right? Yes, yes, yes. Sunny, yes. This is a great way to do it. And provide, Jen, I want to provide some clarity. Everyone here has a chance to win that grand prize. It's
Yes.
the more points you get or the more ballots you get at the end of the day. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, so everybody on the list has a chance to win, but we are tracking as a leaderboard. So whoever has the most points on February 28th, 2024 is going to win that gift certificate. We'll be presenting it at the March team meeting next year. But this number's got to get to 100 before that can happen. So that's the collective responsibility. 30 more people, and you guys, someone's going on a beach.
My math is, that's 30 is nothing.
Yeah.
30 is nothing. Okay, because of that, Jen, we've had a lot of people come join us over the last couple of months in the summer months. I'm going to throw this on you. How about you try saying the first names, because I will not.
Yeah, that is Zina Vandal. And then Ilya, sorry Ilya, I always get your last name really bad, but Ilya.
First names. First names.
Oh, just first names? Oh, awesome. Okay. Ilya, Tanya, Natalie, Dondre, Hussein, Bethany, Roberta, Evelina, Nima, Olivia, Elias, Cecilia, David, Farid, Sandra, Tori, and Jackson.
Jackson, I got that one. Yeah. Everyone, welcome to KW. And Jen wants to see a board like this every team meeting. That is amazing. We get to grow our businesses together, and we just never know who that next person is that we're talking to. Excellent. Well, I'm gonna invite Colin on stage with me as well, because from time to time we have an opportunity to celebrate 10-year anniversaries with KWRC, and I celebrated 10 years within this last year. And at our summer event that we hosted here, we were able to celebrate that, and 2 of our 10-year anniversary recipients were not able to attend. We're going to acknowledge them today. And Colin, I'm going to hand it over to you. Jen's got the mic there. Here you go. First one, Mr. Andrew Bolton.
Andrew Bolton. Funny because when we were getting the awards, Gary's like, because Gary's all about time, and he's like, okay, you gotta keep it short for Andrew. I was like, it's not possible. So,
Short Andrew, though.
short Andrew. In real estate, there's a lot of movement happening in real estate. And for someone to celebrate 10 years of being with a company, it's something that we truly appreciate and honor. So Andrew Bolton, on behalf of KWRC, thank you very much for being a part of our community. Next on the deck is Mr. Stuart Madden. We'll do Stuart. Stuart, I have no idea. So, Stuart is just a wealth of information, someone who has been in the industry, knows a lot, like to keep it low key. But today is not going to be that day. We want to recognize you for what you do, so thank you for being here with us.
Excellent, excellent. Here, you can keep that and remind us about Nelson Homes.
Okay, Nelson Homes is one of our preferred vendors. They've been one of our preferred vendors for over the last year or so. For those of you who don't know, if you're working with a client who's looking for vacant land, this is a perfect collaboration because Nelson Homes, they have over 250 model homes that you can choose from in Nelson Homes. They come and they build it. Their turnaround time is roughly 6 months. If you're working with a lot of builders out there, it can take about 2 years, 2.5 years. And this is an in-house strategic partner that we have. And the beauty about it is with a project like this, Nelson Home is also paying you a referral on the build as well. So what is it 2%?
Yes.
2%, so 2% of the build price. So if it's $1 million, picture 2% on that. So you're not only buying the land, you're getting money off of the land, that purchase, that transaction, but when they build the house, you're getting a commission on that as well. So if anyone has that in mind, please reach out to us, or we have the contact information for Nelson Homes.
Excellent.
Yes,
Can I ask a quick question about that? Do you know
Absolutely.
what- Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Do you know what the lowest like price point for their bills?
I have no idea. The truth is I can't remember because I've looked at the website for a while now. Please check it out. I don't want to mislead you and give you wrong information, so please check it
Introduce Nicole for us.
out. Talking about strategic partners and strategic alliances, Nicole Ferrugia, one of our preferred mortgage vendors. I will stop here and then you'll tell us about you. So come on up. Everyone, Nicole.
you. Usually I'm loud enough, but can you guys all hear me okay? Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully everybody enjoyed lunch as well. Lots of new faces for me here. Thank you to everyone who has made me feel so welcome over the last few weeks at the Aurora office. I am new to this brokerage, so again, thank you for having me, but I'm not new to the KW family. I've been around KW family in various brokerages for about 5 years now. Prior to that, I actually spent about almost 20 years in the legal industry. So a little bit of a different change for me. I fell into this world, which I'll tell you guys all about that when I kind of connect with you one-to-one. But in terms of sort of where my specialty lies and where I'm really hoping to support you guys, I know you guys have had some fabulous partners in the past previously, and you guys have a lot of your own relationships. I'm looking to be an additional support for you guys. I'm not here to replace anything, but definitely added value. I know we've had a lot of sort of conversations, and Sunny mentioned this as well too. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are in a very challenging, unique market right now, and so I think every added piece of advice and second opinion, we're all going to need it. I think we've all probably agreed to say that we're working at least twice as hard as we have in the past few years. And I think with you guys are working so hard to get your clients to the finish line, or what you consider the finish line in terms of that accepted offer. Or the truth of the matter is, you guys are halfway there, right? You get there, we really need to make sure your client's financing is, gets right to the finish line. So this is where, again, sometimes it really helps to have that added value. With my experience, my legal experience, I will say that has been a tremendous support in the last few years, especially the last year where things have been so complex. I do everything. I have a commercial team behind me, I have an insurance team behind me as well, but I do specialize in residential real estate. I do everything, including private financing. I will say that where my, not necessarily niche, but where my specialty really lies is in the traditional financing for a lot of self-employed individuals. So we've seen so many, people over the last few years really say, screw the whole corporate world, I want to do my own thing, and come up with some really cool and unique businesses. And it can be really difficult to secure financing when you're newly self-employed. So in full transparency, I'm sure you guys have seen this a lot on the broker side of things. It's really easy to get people onto the alternative type of financing. Just make more money doing it that way as well. My specialty and where I really like to spend my time is not taking people to that side of things. Really spending the time to build a business case for your clients to keep them on the traditional financing side, to save them fees, to save them higher rates, because every little dollar counts for people now, right? So being able to do that, I have very strategic partners with all of my lenders, and I'm able to really specialize in keeping your clients in that sort of lending space. So that's where I like to say I'm, the queen of the traditional space, but again, I can do everything. So I'm gonna be here for the rest of the day, but I'm also in the Aurora office for the most part. I do pop into Newmarket as well. Really looking forward to connecting with all of you guys. For anybody who's new, I'd love to spend some time with you so you have, a little bit of the mortgage one-on-one to at least have those conversations on a basic level with your clients. And for anybody who's, been in the industry for quite some time and, has their, again, own partnerships, I'd still love to be an added resource and see where I can, if you want to pick my brain, where I can help. Thanks again for having me.
Excellent, excellent. We actually owe Nicole a huge thank you, because if you ate today, which all of you, I know that you did, Nicole was our food sponsor and sponsored our team meetings. He knows how to get to a realtor's heart, right? To feed them. Good stuff, good stuff. Appreciate that. And do reach out to Nicole, because our agent, we're going to talk about this. In fact, one of the questions that Jen and Colin and I are going to discuss is, what do we talk to our clients about interest rates and mortgages and things like that? When you have a great resource right here in the office, you got to take advantage of it and leverage that for sure, for sure. Another thing to leverage is KPA. What's KPA? That's the Keller Williams, in a sense, our personality assessment tool. And if we're hiring, use it. And this used to come at a cost to us, the agents. And we have a great owner that says, forget that, we're offering it to anybody for free. And I gotta tell you, I know, Melissa, you've used it. I've used it many times in the past when I was hiring agents or staff members. And it is a great assessment tool to help you interview the right candidates for the position that you have. There's a long form version and a short form version, but it is a great, great tool while you're building your business and your team, and if you're hiring an assistant or what have you. Or if you're, think about this, perhaps you're an agent and you want to partner with another agent and form a new partnership. And Colin and I have done this in the past, where we've done a KPA, so we understand what my skill set is, what his skill set is, and we obviously have a clear understanding of what that is. So it's not only just for hiring, it's also great for partnerships and things like that. Speaking of partnerships, again, we are growing with our partnerships, and I'm going to invite Jen Gallon to come on stage. And as you know, we are moving forward with different people to support our brokerage, whether it's from the mortgage perspective or from an advertising perspective. And I've known Jen for a number of years, fellow Stouffville person, so thanks very much. Jen launched a company a number of years ago called Elite Marketing, and she's going to share with us how her and her company, her staff, can support our brokerage. So I'm going to pass this over to you, and let me get your slides ready. You will obviously need this. So Jen Gallon, everybody.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. This is amazing. The turnout's amazing. The venue's amazing. Everything has been amazing. Some great people. Some familiar faces, some new ones, so it's just really great to be here. So this is Elite. We are an allied partner, so we are here to support anything you guys need with regard to marketing. So I'll just take you through some of the services that we offer.
Hit this. Sorry, my apologies.
No, that's okay.
You just click
Left or right?
there you go. The other way, the opposite one.
Okay. Don't call us for tech support. We don't do that. So some of the services that we offer, branding and logo design. I mean, you guys are lucky enough to be with Keller Williams, one of the most trusted and well-recognized brands in the industry. So that's absolutely amazing. If any of you choose to have your own branding as well, that's certainly something that we can help with. So feel free to give us a call for that. Graphic design, this is one of our main gigs. So what we do essentially is a lot of graphic design. So anything you need help with, if you want business cards done or feature sheets or anything like that. I'm also a former realtor, so I understand timelines, what's important, what's not, and how we can support you best with that knowledge. Social media, so this is a big one. It's not going anywhere. Your social media needs to be on point, whether you're 18 years old or 88 and still selling real estate. So there's a number of things that we can do to help you leverage your social media to grow your business. I actually just taught a course at Treb about this, so I'm happy to share that information with you. We can help by creating posts, creating copy, coaching you on strategy, or managing your accounts sort of from beginning to end. So any help you need, and even if you just have a question, pick up the phone, give me a call, I'm happy to help you. Print. So print marketing is important. I mean, things like feature sheets and business cards and flyers and mailouts and all of that. Any print materials that you do need, give us a call. We do the design, and we don't actually print in-house, but we work with print partners, and we're able to get really high quality stuff at a reasonable price and quickly. Digital ads. So that's your meta ads, your Instagram, Facebook, and Google ads. If you run any of those now and you have any questions about how to improve them, give us a call and we can help with that. Web design. We are not web developers, but we are web designers. So if you're looking for something, a simple website, we can even do IDX integration. That's something that we can help you with as well. Email marketing campaigns. So that's really important. I mean, you've got this database, you've got this CRM. What are you doing with it? If you're not leveraging that every month, you're wasting your time. This is your most important marketing piece. This is your bread and butter. So if you're not leveraging your CRM, you really should be, and I can sit down with you and teach you how to effectively do that to get way more leads. Mail out marketing, so otherwise known as geographic farming. This is one of our specialties, and we're seeing a ton of success with this for agents that are committing to it and doing it for longer than 3 or 4 months. So if you're willing to commit to a long-term lead gen strategy, I highly recommend geographic farming, and we can help with bits or the whole thing. If you're like, you know what, Jen, I want to do, you do the content creation, I'm going to do the copywriting, you do the design, I'm going to print it myself, and I'm going to distribute myself. Sure, however you want to do it, we can work with you to make it work for you. And that's it. So here's our contact info. I believe it's up on the website as well. So if you guys want to reach out to us, really we're just here to support you in any way we can. Feel free to call and talk about any issues you have, and we're happy to help. So thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, Jen. Reach out to Jen. There's a number of different ways you can do that, but here's the cool part. Not only does she have an awesome background in marketing, but she's also a licensed realtor. So she understands some of the hurdles and everything else that we have to go through and all the RICO guidelines and everything else like that. So there you have it. I'm going to invite Jen back on stage, the other Jen, our Jen, to talk about Bold.
Yes, so as a lot of you might know, some of you probably don't, we have a new Bold coming to the area. The first step to Bold, which is a free event, is going to be on October 16th. If you don't know what Bold is, it is a 8-week course that is built around the idea of helping you with your mindset, with your daily habits, and with your lead generation processes and your follow-up. So it is there to help you grow your business and make sure that you get in production, that you stay in production, and that you're held at a high accountable level to your goals so you can finish your year off as strong as possible. So that's something that sounds like you might need it. At least sign up for step 1. It's free, like we said. You can go hear what they have to say, and you can get yourself signed up. But I'm probably not the best person to talk about this. I have done Bold 5 times, but Wayne over there in the corner has done it. What do you have, 15 now, Wayne?
13.
13. Is it 13?
809.
He has taken it countless times and is in the process of becoming a Bold certified coach, which we're hoping will happen shortly so we can have him coach everybody in the Toronto area. And Zach actually took Bold in the spring and had an amazing experience. And I know they're not the direct reason, but you did also happen to cap in August. And we know that, yeah, we sign up for that. I'm going to invite them up for a minute to just chat about what Bold means to them and how it's impacted their business so you guys can get a better picture. Thank you.
Question.
Okay, so 13 times doesn't mean I'm a slow learner, although I am a slow learner. You're in a different place every time you take the course, so I think it impacts you differently every time. So, Zach, you took Bold in the spring for the first time.
Yep.
How did it impact your business?
For me, it was all about mindset and growth at that time. Being so fresh in the industry, didn't really know what was going on, so I needed some sort of framework. I also do like competition as well, so to be in a room filled with people who are high producers, people who want the best for you, that got me out of bed every morning to go down there and do Bold.
Perfect. And what part of your business did it impact the most?
I would say my habits. So it's a lot of habit building, a lot of accountability as well with Bold. I mean, you're essentially dialed into like small tables. You'll have anywhere between, I think it's like 5 and 10 people in a group, and you're held accountable every single week. And it's not like you can kind of be brushed under the rug, like, oh, I didn't do my numbers, whatever. You're gonna get called out 100%. So if you're fine with fixing that, I mean, it is what it is. That's your choice. Me, somebody, I like to perform. So I found that aspect for my business and my growth. That's where I really thrive.
And were there some major takeaways for you?
100%. So the Bold laws, I really am adhering now in my business to the Bold laws. There's quite a few of them. I implement them a lot in my business. One of them that I've been working on recently is teaching people how you want to be treated as well. So that's something that I'm starting to implement much more, and I find great results with it thus far.
And why would you recommend somebody take Bold?
If you want to grow your business, you want to take it to the next level, that's why I recommend it, 100%.
Perfect. Okay. How many people here are in any kind of coaching? Pay for coaching, monthly coaching, MAPS, Tony Robbins. So it's not cheap, right? Maps is $1,000 a month. Tony Robbins is probably a little bit more, right? So, Bold is $8.99 US. It works out to about $1,100 Canadian. You are in the class for, there's 7 sessions, they're about 5 hours per session. If you break that down, because I'm a businessman and I'm cheap, standard. That's $31 an hour for coaching. Who in here pays $31 for coaching? Anybody? So let alone the accountability, let alone the fact that you're going to sit in a group, you're going to build referral business with other agents. You're going to create more business because you're going to build your pipeline by talking to at least 100 people every week. It's just the best value you can get for any coaching going out there. So highly recommend you take it. It'll change your business. And my coach the other day said to me, are you on a cruise liner or a battleship?
That's a good one.
If you're taking Bold, you're on the battleship. Taking the cruise liner, maybe not. Yes, Sunny.
Sorry, this wasn't planned, but we've been tracking Bold participants of all the times when they run Bold. This is actually the best time of the year. The reason is because if you don't actually start the first quarter off well, you're playing catch up for the rest of the year. So I have a bias that the October end of the year Bold is the best one because the habits that you're going to do now is going to show up in January and February. So if your pipe is filled, which actually needs to be filled now for then, and you start off good, I guarantee you're going to have the best year. We had 75 agents from my market center take Bold last year. 73 of them had a great start. And it all has to do with if you don't get sales or at least listings in January, February, March, there's a lot of anxiety. And I know they're gonna beat you in the butt and it's gonna be a pain in the ass and you're gonna have to do things you don't need to do. But the reality of it is that, suck it up.
I like what you said, Sonny, because if you wait till January to start your actions, you're already 3 months behind, right? So start your actions this fall. It's going to make a huge difference. Build your pipeline. And I like the fall. Well, that's my favorite time of year as well. So anything else?
No, take it this fall. I'll be there.
Excellent.
Okay, before we switch topics, I know you guys have been seeing these balloons and probably wondering what that's all about. I'm gonna have Stephanie come on up here for a second. She didn't quite know I was gonna do this, but I'm making it happen. She's the reason these balloons exist, and I'm not kidding to you. She was so excited about this that I could not say no to her. Yeah,
Go on, Steph.
So what we're gonna do here is we have 10 balloons, and in every single balloon there's a piece of paper that has a prize in it. One of those prizes is a scholarship for 50% of Bold if you register for the full course today. So if you put up your hand and you say, I'm signing up, I'm going to do it, you can come up, you pick a balloon, you're going to pop the balloon, and you're going to get the prize that's in the balloon. So Steph and Marianne, those guys put the balloons together. Thank you, they look lovely. So what we want to know right now is who wants to commit to signing up for a full Bold ride and potentially getting 50% off of the bill.
Megan Wong, I see the first hand.
Tim, we got Tim. I saw Zach's hand as well. We got 3 people so far. Anybody else want to register?
You have to register today, or you have to?
Well, we'll register you, but you just have to commit today that you're going to do it. Okay, so Christina as well. So if you put your hand up, come on up, because you're going to pick a balloon and you're going to pop it. Yeah. Let's go, Zach, Wayne, Jackson. Grab a balloon, whatever one you think is going to be the winner. Let's go.
All right, guys, slide down. Get right in front of the screen.
One. Oh, we have 2 more balloons, guys. We have 2 more people that want to take the last 2 balloons.
Come on, we're carpool. It'll be fun.
Let's go.
All right, who needs a balloon? We got 2 left. We can't, because hey, the winner might be in these 2.
Right.
The winner might be in these 2.
It's not true because the winner's in here.
Well, we'll find out.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go one at a time. We're going to pop the balloon and read the prize.
I get a Starbucks $20 gift card.
Oh.
Okay, we have it.
There we go.
And all the other videos.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah,
I
you can
know.
sign it.
There we go.
Should we tell them about the new car?
Come on, bro.
Oh, and I'm not gonna be able to read them without my.
There's a Starbucks gift card.
Excellent, thank you.
It's not
I got my phone.
$20 Starbucks gift card. Nice.
Starbucks, we want it.
I get to see Sunny do a plank dance, belly dance.
$10 gift cards for sure.
The right one.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And a Starbucks gift card.
Nice, congratulations, everybody.
This is my second time doing gold. The first time you do it, you don't know what you're getting yourself in for. The second time is a bit like having a baby. The second baby, you know what you're getting yourself in for. And for me, the $1,000 bites. But it will make me disciplined. And if I want a successful next year, I can do it. So come on, there can be more of us.
Excellent.
I just want to throw out one more quick acknowledgement before we move on. Because just like Zach, Rachel and Hayden also took gold into spring last year, and they also capped in August. So I just want to acknowledge that.
So as you know, one of the things that we decided to do this year is to host KWRC events. And different events for you, our agents, but also our clients. And when we do that, we've had some tremendous success over the last little while. We have a really important announcement from Dylan and Stevie, and then Jen will get into a little bit more of some of the events.
See the skill this gets.
How many times did you have to edit it for all of them to go down?
Don't worry about
It's not important right now, stay on focus. So we have some fantastic events coming up for you guys. The first one is September 28th. It's at Stellar Lanes in Newmarket. We are going to be hosting our bowling charity event. It's $45 a ticket. That gets you pizza, that gets you a couple of drinks. You can bring guests if you'd like to. We can host up to 72 bowlers and 96 people in total. So we're looking to fill that up. We're gonna have a silent auction there. We're gonna have 50-50, and we are raising funds for In From the Cold. That is the charity that our ALC selected. We know that right now there's a lot of challenges happening with people struggling for housing and losing their homes, and obviously as an industry, very involved in that. We want to acknowledge and support that as best we can. We're also going to be asking everybody to bring a non-perishable item to donate to the local food banks, and we'll be sharing out those items amongst the Barrie, Georgina, Aurora, and Newmarket food banks. So that one is September 28th. You'll be getting some emails about it from the office after our event today. So register, come have fun, raise some money for charity, and just hang out with your friends and have a good time. We will be having a competition, so for those of you that are fueled by competition, I'm looking at you, Zach, you will have a chance to win. There will be some door prizes, and there will be a prize for the team that wins at the end of the night as well, okay?
Do they bring a team or?
No, you do not bring a team. You register as solo bowlers, okay? The Halloween Harvest event that we are hosting. This is kind of like our Easter egg hunt for those of you that participated. We did an event in the spring, and we're doing it again in the fall. The brokerage is hosting this event for you. So this is a database touch that you can leverage at no cost to you. We have connected with a local farm in Newmarket, and they have given us access to their farm. They're going to be providing a free pumpkin to every family. There's going to be hot chocolate, cider, there's a corn maze, there's pumpkin crafts, there's games, there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's on Sunday, October 22nd from 9 until 12. And you are going to be receiving, again this afternoon, marketing pieces that have been pre-made for you. You can put your logo and your branding on them that you can send out to your database and post on your social medias and leverage the brokerage, okay? Invite your clients, get face-to-face with them. Sunny was talking about this earlier. We need to see them in person. We need to connect. This is a great opportunity to do that, and it's at no cost to you. So please sign up, get your clients to sign up, or just let us know how many people are coming, and that's all going to be ready for you. Then our final thing is our holiday gala. We have that arranged as well. We will be at the Royal Venetian Mansion. I have to apologize to everybody. I kind of picked the date. I went a little rogue. I didn't actually check with everybody else if they were available. And Colin is not here on that day, so we can take a vote right now if we just do it with him. Or we are going to change the date to a date that he will be there as well. So we'll be updating that and letting everybody know as soon as we have the date nailed down, which will be really shortly. And then of course we have our awards gala at the beginning of February. Our ALC has been working so hard to make sure that we know what events are coming up and just make sure we have the best events for you guys. So we're really excited about this. And I want to take a second to thank our ALC members for putting the time into building this calendar out and having these great events, because that's important for us as a team. So thank you guys very much for that.
Excellent. Well, another big event that we have all taken part of, I'm sure, is family reunion. And who's gone to family reunion before? Lots of people in here. Here's what I can tell you, not enough. It's like Bold. It's something you have to experience. And this year, why not? It's in Vegas, right? So look for lots more of that information to come out over the next several months. And we'll have some fun things around family reunion and share some stories from those that have been in the past. Okay, Colin, why don't you come on the stage with me and we can celebrate some of our top agents over the last little while. And this is written business for our top individuals year to date. And we have Emily Hushoff, Sean Herberson, Megan Waller, Stuart Madden, Stuart Coleman, Paul Ireland, Haley MacArthur, Vincent Bongard, John Brock, and Tracy Versta. All right, next we have, same for our individuals, this is GCI year to date. Haley MacArthur, Sean Herberson, Megan Waller, Stuart Madden, no, this is not the same as last side, but almost. Stuart Coleman, Michael Dinner, Paul Ireland, Vincent Bongard, John Brock, and again, Tracy Versta. Written business for top groups, so this is partners or some of our teams as well. All of our teams. Baxter Ryan Real Estate Group, Melissa Taylor team, Paroff team, Bolton Clements Real Estate Group, Lone Bay Alcorn team, and the Terry Hastings team.
Terry, say wait.
Photo op.
We'll send you the
Yeah, we'll crop us out. That'll devalue it. Okay, that's written business. And then next we up is our GCI for our top groups, our top teams. Silvernagle team, Terz's team, Paroff team, Bolton Clements Real Estate Group, Bolton Bay Alcorn team, and the Terry Hastings team. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to invite our broker record, Jonathan Reed, and Darren Maltese up. And as a lot of you know, there's some things that are happening, or maybe you're not aware. We've all, and if you've been licensed for less than, I'm going to steal one of your lines, I'm so sorry. Less than, is it 22 years? Yeah, 23 years? We've 24 years for Jonathan, and we've all been using our guidelines as REBA 2002. Well, those laws are changing. So I'm going to pass it over to Jonathan because I have no idea what these laws are and I need to pay attention. There you go, my friend.
Thank you, Gary. First of all, I want to say thank you and welcome to Nicole, Jen, Sunny. Thank you very much. I want to say congratulations to all the cappers. Congratulations and all the top team leaders. As you know, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jonathan Reed. I'm the broker of record for Keller Williams Realty Center. And back when I first started, about a year ago, Colin and I were talking about how I can support the group. And it's not just me, one person supporting the entire group, but it's really a group of us. And that's when we have created the Office of the Broker of Record. The Office of the Broker of Record now has been expanded to add Darren Mulpay, and as you know, Gail Hurst is our compliance advisor. So Darren's title, if you may, is our resident broker. What that really means is that he's taking on a lot of the phone calls, a lot of the WhatsApp chats. You've probably seen him chime in a lot in a lot of your chats, whichever way that chat goes. I don't really chime into the WhatsApp group because if you really have a question that's pressing, you know where you can reach me. Secondly, so our group has expanded to different ideas and different responsibilities on us. So if you get something in terms of your paperwork, your compliance and stuff, that's really coming from Gail after having a sit down with me on how best to communicate with you guys. Same thing with Darren. If there's anything that's pressing, questions, we really, unless it's a walk in the park with most of the questions that Darren takes on is, he really refers with me, and we have a conversation with regards to that, and then discuss it amongst with each other, and then he'll advise you. If you really can't, then he'll reach out to me, and then he'll ask me the question, and then he'll reach out to you as well. So please welcome Darren as a new member of the Office of the Broker of Record. Just to start off, as you know, for most of you, you know what REBA 2002, and some of you haven't been born since 2002, okay? wait, Nicole, sorry, Olivia. However, REBA 2002 was like a Bible for us. There's rules, guidelines, and actually law. For those of you who break the law, you may be fined, and I've seen people jail who go against the REBA 2002. Since then, there's nothing that's been changed until today. Well, actually, last year. Trust in real estate is something that is really near and dear to all of you, but especially for those of us who are operating or managing or being the head of a brokerage. And I think it's really important that you guys pay attention to this and really recognize how the industry is changing so that you can do your business at the best and at the top level. So I want to introduce you to Darren, who will be going through the changes for phase 2 of TRESA. There was already a phase 1. One of the parts of phase 1 was you were able to register your PREC, your Personal Real Estate Corporation. And all of you guys know that, and some of you guys have done and have not done, but that's one of the phases of TRESA, of phase 1. Now phase 2, there's 7 parts to it, and Darren's gonna go through that. Be a little bit patient with us because it's very, very important. And then I'm gonna have some housekeeping things after Darren for our brokers. All right?
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, so this is going to be a lot of fun for everybody. Everyone's going to love this. So a lot of really big changes. you'll be able to find a lot of information about this stuff. They have these little mini videos and other explanations you can find on either the RICO website or the AREA website. Go through that because this is really just a little snapshot of what we can expect coming forward. Some of it's actually still kind of in negotiation, that it hasn't really been determined exactly how they're going to work all this out. But anyway, we're going to go through this very briefly. It's just a point form to kind of give you an idea of the changes that are coming. One, first and foremost, I heard someone talk about a customer relationship, customer relationship, or signing somebody as a customer, no longer going to happen. So either you're going to be a client, or you're going to be unrepresented. No longer going to be a customer. So if you think about it, oftentimes when you take on somebody like a customer in a double-ended deal or so on and so forth, oftentimes that line can get crossed between a customer and a client. So they're trying to clarify that, and they're actually eliminating that option altogether. Okay? So whoever used to be a customer under REBA will now be either a client or, again, will be self-represented or unrepresented person. And what is a self-represented party? Very, very easy to understand. It's like someone going to court without having a lawyer. No guidance, no service, no one to rely on. You're on your own. So they're just simply representing themselves. And the only way you can interact with a self-represented party is if you're helping your own client. So for instance, you have a listing. Someone gives you a sign call, wants to come see the property, you can show them that property. But you can't show someone else's property. If you want to show someone else's property, you have to have a contract, and that person has to be a client. Okay? So you cannot offer them anything. No advice. They can't rely on your expertise. You can talk about general knowledge of the business, but you can't guide them. So again, the only time you can give assistance to a self-represented party is by, it's a service provided to a client or incidental to a service provided to a client. You might be dealing with an unrepresented seller. You have a client who's a buyer. You can interact with that unrepresented person, and you can offer some, I guess, assistance, but you can't offer them service. So again, you can't provide assistance to a self-represented buyer unless the seller is your client. You can't provide assistance to a self-represented seller unless the buyer is your client. And any assistance you might provide is a service to your client. You're always going to be dealing with whoever your client is, that's who you're going to be servicing, and you can only help a self-represented person as a service to your own client. Then there's also going to be a new RICO information guide. Very similar, I guess you would say, to working with a realtor now, which is going to have a far more expansive explanation of services, duties, obligations. All these things are going to be covered in this new information guide that you're going to be providing to any potential client. So again, the risk of receiving assistance as a self-represented party. You know, we have that as a customer on the working with a realtor. It'll have some explanation. All has to be plain language, easily understandable, and it has to be very, very clear and concise. It's going to be far more transparent than it is today.
Darren, when it's unrepresented, will they have to sign something to say that?
No, because you're not providing any service to them, so there's no contract with an unrepresented person. If you have a contract, then they become a client.
So okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren, if they choose to want to offer, they must, a lawyer must write the offer, okay? Can't write an offer for them.
That's still kind of, again, I think that's still kind of unclear as to how much assistance you can give them. They can't rely on your expertise and advice them. So you might be able to help them sign where they need to sign, but there might not be much more than that.
What about the clauses that those things?
Again, the clauses you're going to be putting in there are only going to be clauses that are going to be benefiting your client.
You can't put anything in there that's gonna benefit self-represented party.
Even more interesting part is you can't show anyone a property that isn't applied.
Right, so,
Could you just repeat?
yeah, that's,
What, could you just repeat what?
yes. So what Andrew said is, you can't show a self-represented party or an unrepresented party any property unless it's your own client's property. It's your own listing.
Like an online meeting, open house meeting, you have to, we have a lot more, property-specific contracts. Right?
Yeah, right now, I think they're still looking at the possibilities of that, how that might work in the real marketplace, because again, there's a lot of teams and a lot of agents who build their business through online leads. It's very difficult to expect that someone who's calling through your website is gonna sign a contract with you before you see one property, right? It's gonna be very difficult. So we'll see how that comes about, but this RICO information guide, again, is gonna be an expanded form of the working with the realtor. Very, very clear, very precise, and transparent.
Yeah, you guys, I can't even hear them, I'm right there.
Well, here's the thing, it's obviously gonna bring a lot of talk because it's changed, it's huge, huge changes. And again, we're not gonna be able to go through all scenarios here. I'm certainly no expert on it. I think it's still, there's still some negotiation going on. I know RIA is advocating for a new designation called, what was that? Designated representation. For instance, you have right now, if you're gonna be two agents from the same office, or you say what's now multiple representation, so Colin has a listing, I bring a buyer, it's multiple representation. They want to have what's called designated representation, where I can still advocate for my buyer, Colin can advocate for his seller, and it's not multiple representation as it is right now, it would be called designated representation. So they're making some changes in that.
Sorry, may I ask about this message? Who will provide this information guide? Is it each individual agent who's responsible for this, or will this be a kind of standardized?
Yeah, they're gonna be preparing more of those documents and contracts and all those things. There's a lot of changes coming with all that stuff. And the next slide's gonna talk a little bit more about that too. We talk about disclosure, consent, and acknowledgements. Even the way the listing contracts are gonna be prepared is gonna be completely different when it comes to disclosures and so on and so forth. No longer is it gonna be, 5% for your listing and then 2.5 of that or whatever it is you decide to the buying side. It's actually gonna be separated. It's gonna be very clear. It's gonna have a section for all the services you're gonna be providing in detail. There's a lot more. So all of the consents, disclosures, acknowledgements are gonna be far more vast, far more larger requirements for all that stuff. They just wanna make sure everything is very clear, very concise, that the consumer is protected, and the professionalism of the industry gets raised as well. So when it comes to multiple representation, conflicts of interest, direct or indirect financial benefits, so anything, if you get a referral fee from a mortgage broker or anything, that stuff has to be very, very clear, what type of compensation you might get, how they're gonna be paying their commissions to who and how, and all that stuff is gonna be absolutely clear, right? Material facts. This is a real big one. Material facts in selling of a home. Right now in Ontario, essentially what you have is buyer beware or caveat emptor, right? It's all on the buyer to determine whether a home has any issues or so on and so forth. You have a listing and your seller tells you, I have a leaky basement, but I don't want you to tell anybody, we're gonna keep it quiet. You're obligated to follow the direction. When this changes, you're no longer able to do that. If you come across a material fact, if the seller tells you something, it's a material fact about that property, you have to disclose it to every prospective buyer of that property. You don't have a choice. If you have a seller who doesn't want to share that information and asks you not to, you may have to consider not taking that listing. Contents of representations agreements, like I said, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Not me. That's my fan club. Another thing, obviously, we've heard about a little bit, and it's something that's going to be coming in through on December 1st, is obviously open offers or auction style, whatever. So a seller can determine ahead of time, during, after, they can change their mind before, after, during, whatever, that they can actually share any parts of the offers they're receiving with other potential buyers. Other than obviously privacy stuff like name of buyer and so on and so forth. But contents of an offer, they can share any parts of it, all of it. They can start to do it. They can change their mind and not do it partway through the offer process. They can decide that they don't want to share it, and then during the offer process, they can start sharing it. So again, it's going to be a real big learning curve for us on which type of strategies when you're marketing and selling properties, exactly what you want to do. Some people may want to share that information. Some people may not want to. And if you're representing a buyer, they have to understand the seller may or may not share any or all of that offer contents. They may start sharing it, they may stop sharing it, any of those things. So again, it's another big change in our industry, one that's going to have to be explained very clearly in all situations.
Maybe you know, maybe you don't. So if they choose to share, what about like sharing with some agents and not other agents? Like how do we know it's going to be a fair pay deal?
Yeah.
Or we just go to
I don't know. Jonathan says he has something to share on that. He'll take that in a little bit. Access to real estate. This seems like a no-brainer, right? You're not supposed to allow your clients access to properties without you being there. Somehow, that doesn't always get adhered to. But they're going to be very, very strict with this, and they're going to crack down hard on people who don't stop doing this, right? You have buyers who are getting, again, the same thing for lockboxes, all very, very clear. So, registrant prevents registrants from providing any person with access to real estate unless the registrant is present with the person. Though this has always been an obligation, it's now been specifically included in the law. So you can imagine that that's going to come with heavier fines, penalties, and so on and so forth, which I agree with 100%. Again, lock boxes, you can't provide a lockbox code to anybody. You have to be there. But there says something there that sometimes, let's say, I don't know, maybe there's an appraiser going or something like that, and the seller says it's okay if the appraiser comes through with the lockbox code. That written consent actually has to be obtained and filed for every single time someone's going in there without an agent, okay? And there's a new code of ethics. There's a whole list of things, and you'll be able to see under all of them some of the changes, but they're going to be, again, cracking the whip and really cracking down on all of these things. Misrepresentations, no discrimination, intimidation, all these things. So typical things that we would consider as normal day to day, but they're going to be far more specific, and they're going to be far heavier handed in the discipline process. And that's it for the slides. So again, I recommend going through the RICO and the AREA websites, have a look at their videos. They're very informative. And we're also going to be, okay, I'll put it on to Jonathan now. So anyway, let's have fun with these changes. It's going to be great.
Thank you, Darren. I am so confused.
Can everyone just listen, because this is really hard to hear?
Sorry, what's that, Gail?
Thanks, Jonathan.
Because back in 2002 when REBA first came out, we had the same type of conversations, all these changes, all these rules, and nothing was set in stone back then either. It is a working model. So TRUSA 2020 will be a working model. That's number one. Number two is, because of all of our questions, including mine, we have invited a representative from ORIA for October the 25th. Okay, write that down. October 25th, we're gonna have a representative either in our office or in a venue like this to answer all of your questions, including mine. Okay? So please be patient with all your questions. Some of them I can address today, maybe on a one-on-one basis, but it is a working model, it's a changing model. And because, members of RICO, ORIA, Korea are not really practicing realtors, right? So until realtors start practicing with these rules and regulations in place, they will not be able to know how to change them. And that's been the case for the last 21 years and 24 years that I've been doing business. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. It's gonna evolve. We're gonna use best practices in the meantime, and I'll help you with that. A lot of the rules and regulations will be stipulated as we go along. Okay? So beyond that, is there anybody who have questions or comments? Thanks. So some housekeeping stuff. Okay? So we've heard some of you guys asking for some changes in our command. Okay? So with that, there's some minor changes, but what we're doing is we've changed the command so that your FinTrack and your PEP and HIO can be done in one scan instead of separating them. Because I know that even me as a practitioner, if I were to separate all the documents into 30 different pages, is very tedious. However, some of that is necessary. So, but other things can be consolidated. So the FinTrack, PEP, and HIO will be done in one scan or one scan folder. Also for Schedule B, your Schedule B can be incorporated with your agreement to purchase and sale. It doesn't have to be separated from now on. And we've asked our admin staff to look for that. But here's the thing, I can't have you guys scan one document and put it onto every folder. You have to separate the documents. Because it's really for you, for your benefits. Because if your documents, if your trade is held up because we need to separate it, because we can't close it on time, then you won't be getting paid on time. And we really want to help you get paid on time as fast as possible. And Heather does a wonderful job in paying everybody. On the first day, she gets a check from the cooperating brokerages, or the listing brokerages for that matter. And Gail and myself, we review documents all day long so that you guys can get paid every single day between Monday and Friday. So let's do your part, let's do our part in separating the documents into the right categories with the right signatures in place and without missing documents. Okay, guys? I really appreciate that. And when you have missing documents and when you have signatures missing, you get notified, right? You get notified to say, hey, something's missing. Please look at your command, upload the document. Going forward, we're going to ask you to look at command yourself. We're going to say, please see command. Nothing more, no descriptions along with that. We will say, please see command. Because we put comments within command. But then we put comments on your emails again. And that's getting repetitive. The number of transactions are increasing, and we want to cut down on the actual, the wording, the typing, and the redundancies of our work as well. So we will say, please see command, go to your folder or go to your command, and look at it, see how that looks like, see what the comments are, and then, put up the appropriate documents or the signatures that are missing. This is Stephanie's little plugin. When you receive your trade sheet on an open transaction, we need you to sign that. We've been audited by RICO, and RICO wants us to sign when you get your sheet as an open trade, not when it's closing, not before it gets paid. So when you're sent a trade sheet, please sign it as soon as possible before it gets closed so that we can go through the audits properly. If we get fined, then there's higher costs for everybody because of lack of signing. So let's have those signed on time. A couple other things is, in October, early November, we're going to have a team symposium. Last year, we had a team symposium, or sorry, beginning of this year, we had a team symposium. We have what's called a growth symposium. It's something that I created and brought from another brokerage. And what team symposium is we're taking the top teams in our market centers, not just within our own market center, but in our market. We're inviting them. We're asking them to share. For those of you who have teams, who want to develop teams, we're asking them to share what their best practices are. What are the secrets to their growth? What are the secrets to their large production? So we're going to bring these people, these high producers, and we're going to share with those people who have teams, who want to develop teams. Okay? And then we're going to have what's called a growth symposium. These are for single individuals who are high producing, and they will be able to share with you who are single individual agents on how they do their business efficiently at a high production level as well. So look for that late October, early November. Okay. And lastly, we have a couple clauses. We have a few clauses to protect you. More and more, when you go for a listing with the market conditions as they are, you're going to be upfronting some. By the way, I will send this to you by email from the Office of the Broker Record. By the way, so you're going to upfront some of the costs for staging, right? How do you get reimbursed if it doesn't sell or if it gets canceled by the seller? We've had some issues with that recently as well. So we are here to protect you. I don't want you to use it verbatim, but I also want you to know how to use these clauses to your advantage, okay? So there's 3 that's out there. There's 2 more on the next page. You can even put a lien on the home if you agree to something and they don't pay back or they don't reimburse you. You can upfront the cost, or you can ask your clients to upfront the cost and you would reimburse them. There's many different ways to do it, but we've come up with 3 different clauses for you so that you can actually start to utilize that and protect your money if you don't get the actual sale. Lastly, for those of you who are using escape clauses or receiving offers with escape clauses to have the buyers sell their own property, more and more the banks or the financial institutions are not approving mortgages on the first 5 days. Okay? They want to approve after your client or buyer's home gets sold. So you need to tweak that clause for the financing clause for 5 days or how many days after your client's home or buyer's home gets firmed up. So if the escape clause is there and gets sold a month from now, your clause as a buyer or agent need to have 5 days on average after the firming up date. So you're going to have to adjust your clause accordingly. Okay? Please keep that in mind. If you need to, please reach out to us. Darren and I will be more than glad to help you write that clause. It's just a matter of tweaking something that's just beyond the firming date of the sale of the buyer's property. Okay? So having said that, thank you so much for being patient with us.
Thank you, my friends.
Broker record stuff is incredibly important, and I know it can be kind of mundane, but I tell you what, when you have a great broker team like we do, and one that Jonathan leads, we are in great hands. The trusted portion, we're learning as we go. We all are. The whole industry is. So as those training sessions come up, please attend them because it's going to benefit your clients and, of course, you. here's what we're gonna do. Let me just flip over our slide here, and we are going to skip a few things, but most importantly, we are going to we're going to thank the people that came. So thank you to Nicole, of course, for sponsoring today's session. Sonny was sitting here, and he sends his love. Of course, he has an appointment that he had to get to. Reach out to Sonny. He is an awesome, awesome guy. If you ever see training on the Canada calendar for Sonny, make a point of getting to it, because he is a fascinating and captivating speaker and trainer, and it's awesome. Of course, reach out to Elite Marketing, Jen and her team there. They can certainly help with all things marketing. We promised you a mastermind. We promised you some questions that Colin, Jen, and I are going to discuss. We're going to postpone that to the mastermind, because I know a lot of people sitting for 2 hours is a long time. So here's what we're going to do. A, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to see everyone back here in 10 minutes to do our mastermind and elevate our business with each other. But until then, use the washrooms. Thank you. We'll see everybody back here in 10.